Good day, homesies. So, do I have something good, something inspirational in the way of like in the last few days, have I noticed in my life, in my consciousness, anything that's changed? Is there anything that I'm working on right now? It definitely is. I mean, I have discovered something huge. And I don't know if I can say that it's sort of a way the brain programs itself on how, or my brain, how I see people, whether they're good or bad, and whether that has like a link with me becoming psychotic. I couldn't say for sure, but what led to all of this was it's around anxiety, because I went to the doctors with anxiety, and part of it is about finding a way of dealing with it that doesn't involve pills. And I've been working on this for a while, not in the way of like concentrating so hard on anxiety, but thinking about positivity and how positivity has an impact on reality. I mean, there was this girl, Tracy, I think her name was, and this is a good 2 or 3 years ago. She says to me, she's like a mental health worker. She's a reablement team, so that's getting a person back. As in like, disabled and reabled. So first you're disabled, and then you take the treatment, the medication, and things like that. And it's about getting a person back on their feet, so to speak. Get them. Yeah. So she says to me, yeah, and this is what all of this is around. This is what this is the crux. That's what the word is. This is the crux of the whole thing, which must have been like a very powerful concept, because it led to a lot of thought on the subject. And she said to me, like, brain cells are like a railway track. You know how, like, when the train wants to go this way, they shift, so literally you've got all these connections, and you can shift the connections depending on how you see reality. Now, if you try and see things in a positive way, your reality will shift, and you will be more able to see the natural, normal, real positivity that there is in life. It's like you exercise that muscle and it gets better, and and so there was that. This is the start of all of this, and that that sits with me for a couple of years, and it doesn't really do much, to be honest, until I start to socialize a bit. after isolating myself for a long time, I start to socialise. You know, I get some part-time work. I start to help out at Gambling Gate. You know, I see my mum on Thursday. And I start to grow this awareness. And I'm standing outside Blytheway, yeah. And I've just had a bit of anxiety, and I'm kind of having trouble dealing with it. And I'm saying to myself, the backdrop for that day was positivity. I was really into practicing positivity. That's not 100% accurate, but it will do, you know. And so positivity was in my consciousness, and anxiety was in my consciousness as well, because I'm having this little bout of anxiety. And because the two are in my awareness, I have like this realization that the train tracks that are used for anxiety, that perpetuate the anxiety, that you know, cause the anxiety, perpetuate the anxiety, you know, etc., are actually rooted in how good of a like positivity practice I have or had at that time, right? So skip forward, you know, a month or two, and I'm seeing my doctor, and I've got anxiety, and through the anxiety, I get taught what my problem is, because, and this is where I feel that it may be connected to psychosis as well. I get taught that I'm hallucinating. I'm literally, someone will speak, you know, this is an example. Someone will speak, and I won't hear the words that they said. I'll hear something that means something very dark and probably nasty, you know. Something trippy, something that is psychotic in the way that it feels, the meaning that those words mean, you know, will be sort of magical, but in a very bad way, you know. I don't know if that's a good way of explaining it. And so I'm at what anxiety teaches me. So it teaches me that the basics of it is that there'll be a trigger, and everybody knows about triggers. Everybody knows that someone will say like one thing, you'll hear one thing, and it'll just send you off on like a journey of like anxiety, where everything everybody says, you know, seems to sort of grate on that first comment that was said. And it's around sort of like, okay, so my reality is such that I'm not positive enough to take that first comment the right way. And the experience can be like a learning process where I realize and learn, you know, later on when I've come down off this psychosis trip, that first comment, you know, I tell myself, I don't know how I do it. I suppose everyone does it, you know. I come to learn that comment wasn't said the way that I thought it was said, and I don't really understand how I could be so vulnerable as for it to set me off in the way that it did. It really was insane. I mean, I was in Queensgate, yeah, and this kid, music was playing in H&M, yeah, and I felt really nervous around this girl. Um, and so I come out of H&M, and I'm walking down, and I'm near Greg's, and this kid says "Forever" because it was a part of the music that was playing in H&M, and for some reason it just sets me off on this psychosis that lasts literally all day. And so where I want to go now, and I've had that's 2 experiences like that in a couple of days. Where I want to go now is to is around a very powerful positive affirmation that I sort of stumbled across from I actually created it, and the backdrop is that I've been trying positive affirmations, proper real ones, for a couple of days, and I guess I got good at it. And it's about how really it's to fight. I've had enough of this anxiety, and by this point I'm really fighting. I'm like, come on, bitch, I'm gonna take you on, bring it this way, right? And so from all the anxiety that I've had, I take a really good look at myself, and I say, look, you have a real problem with people. So I'm sitting at work with Ken, right? And there's no work. And I'm coming up with this stuff. I'm really looking at the anxiety and looking at really understanding what it is in my train tracks, that in the way that I've programmed my own mind to see reality, the positive and the negative things that I've said to myself. I mean, not exactly, no, but in the way of like, what is it that is wrong with the way that I'm holding space for people's intentions? Okay, so fast forward to one morning. So I've tried positive affirmations a few times, and I had this experience where I was in Queensgate, and I was literally, up to this point, I'd just stayed present because I learned that staying present was the way to take in all the pleasure, all the lovely sounds, all the lovely way things look, like autumn leaves and shit, for example. It's the way to take in pleasure. So literally up to this point, I've just been staying present all the time because it feels so damn good, and it's healing me so fucking hard, right? To the point where I can actually feel. And there's a change because this is where I learn the power of positive affirmations, because I'm in Queensgate and I'm literally saying to myself positive affirmations, I've got this, I've got that, I've got that, all the things that I actually have, not things that I want and that I would say, there's this one by Elise that says like, the things that you want, tell yourself that you have. It wasn't like that. It was sort of everyday sort of things to be grateful for. Really dope things. And one of them was that I was telling myself, this is what I've learned from staying present. I'm telling myself, I can affect my own reality. Well, when I say reality, I don't mean reality as in reality. I mean reality as in happiness level. I have the power to change my own happiness level. And I'm sort of, in my mind, I'm walking around Queensgate and I'm talking to myself, you know, and I'm going into this in some depth, and I'm really feeling it and knowing it and learning it and fucking loving it and literally feeling really, really good. So I've learned that I've got two things that make me feel good. I've got staying present, and now I've got positive affirmations. Well, the point of all of that is the backdrop to the positive affirmation that I gave myself one morning after a lot of really serious and really nasty anxiety. And I said to myself, look, I see what the problem is. It's the way you're holding space for people. It's that you see them as, and this is a crucial bit, you see them as the kind of people who would say something nasty enough to trigger you and to send you off on that journey of like every comment after that seems to be hurtful, you know. You see them as being people nasty enough to do that to you, and that is your problem. So I wrote myself this beautiful positive affirmation about people and about how lovely they are and how their intentions are good, and literally pulling out all the positive aspects of just this positive affirmation really is about random people. It's just about random people. And I'm just telling myself that people are good. People, you know, I'm just healing that part of me that thinks that everybody, this is subconsciously, obviously, my conscious mind would never be stupid enough to think this, but my subconscious fact is, right, that people are, you know, and it hurts that my subconscious is set up this way, and this is why I'm trying to heal it. That I'm telling myself that in fucking no way are people mean enough, generally just random people, to be actually wanting, you know. I mean like, yeah, it would be fun, you know, as like a game, to send people off on triggers if they were, you know, up for it. You know, I mean, that would be fucking dope, right? But this is serious. You know, nobody, literally nobody would send someone off on a trigger. Nobody would do that. You know, people are just not like that. They're really not. And that's really the end of my video. So thanks for watching, and you're dope. Goodbye.